Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. His name is Saad, the Prince Khan, and he's an upcoming Pakistani boxer. And how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good as well. Now, I'm honored to have you on here.
Thank you.
So obviously, I know I've seen like some of your footage, and like from what I know of you, that you obviously are in boxing world. How's that going?
Uh, I would say that in the year of 2022, boxing has been going really well. My career has taken a very good path and a good path and direction. All due to obviously, alhamdulillah, but as well as to my team. I do think that I have one of the best teams in boxing. I have probably the best people around me and behind me. And just putting in the work, man, just working hard and just enjoying the ride there. Pretty much just enjoying the ride there.
I like it. I like it. It's like you're enjoying the journey.
hmm Yeah, man, I would say that, the whole notion about enjoy the journey, the once the journey ends and once you're at that where you need to be at, then you're gonna miss the journey. So I'm enjoying the journey, man. I'm enjoying training. It's been completely different. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm a suburban kid from out there. So,
Just like
being
me.
yeah, man. So moving out here, living in Vegas, training with professional, high level, elite professional level athletes and trainers. I mean, it's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different aspect to the sport, and it just makes you admire and love it even more.
If I'm not mistaken, you do train like with like TMT, right? The money team.
Yeah. So essentially, I train at Mayweather Promotions Gym in Las Vegas, Nevada, being currently managed by Rolando Romero, former world champion at 135. And my trainer is Bullet Cromwell, who is also the trainer of Rolando Romero. So surrounded by a good set of individuals and um, knowledgeable individuals, I would say.
I know I like that. I like that. So obviously you're training with some very like elite like coaches and athletes in general.
The best of the best. It doesn't get better than this.
I love that. What is it like training with them like in terms of like it's like overall like conditioning and like technique mastery and everything.
Um, I would say that we are very focused on technique. Technique is number one thing that we focus on more than anything. We bring a different style to boxing. We bring a different type of aspect to boxing, and it's something that I would say the casuals do not understand, and I don't
Yeah.
think they understand. They're too focused on fighters that like to pity pat, run around, and just score points and get out of there. But we're about power punching. We're about knockouts. We're about making a statement because that's what the fans come to watch. Fans aren't coming to watch you run around. They want to do that to go watch their kids at the playground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we're here to put on entertainment. We're here to put on a show. And, as a fighter, my objective is to get rid of my opponent. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get him out of there, not enjoy 12 rounds with him, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah, no, I like that mentality. It's like you're going out there to try and like essentially like finish this dude.
hmm That's why we're in there, right? It's a
Yeah,
gladiator sport.
yeah,
I'm not going to go in there trying to freaking have fun with this guy. I don't know
yeah.
this guy.
No, I like that. I like that. I like that mentality of basically going out there and essentially doing your best to just, end him.
Yeah, I mean it does come to that, but at the same time, there's a lot more involved than just one going out there and just finishing a guy off. I mean, there's a lot of practice, a lot of technique, a lot of hours that are put into the craft itself before that is implemented. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of my amateur videos from my fights where
Yeah.
go in and boom, just one shot, dude gets knocked down. First time I came to Vegas, um, I did I was about like a 5 week camp out here with Bullet, and I go back to Chicago and I get my first round knockout. The first punch I threw, first proper punch I threw, boom,
Yeah.
flatline. So the progress and the practice speaks for itself, I would say.
No, I like that. I do have to ask you, like, what does it feel like just like straight up just knocking someone out?
Um, feels good.
Was it ever?
Feels good, but sometimes I would say I think I do boxing because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
The barbaric sport, you know, there's obviously people put their lives on the line and they go in there and they go into the sport, you know, obviously with the mentality to become victorious in all ends and means. But it is a barbaric sport at the end of the day, and it does have its pros and cons to it. So yeah, it's enjoying to watch your practice come to fruition, but at the same time, it is also like I said, it's a barbaric sport. So I do it because I'm genuinely good at it and I enjoy it.
No, I like that. I like that. So I do have to ask you, I think if I'm not mistaken, I saw like a video of you like hitting
Yeah,
pads with Floyd Mayweather Sr.
yeah.
How was that? Training
So
with someone
essentially,
so prolific.
yeah. So essentially, first time I came to Vegas to train was I think about 5 years ago, I would say. And this was during the early stages of my career. So came out here, Rolly was in camp for fighting Jackson Marina's first world title.
Okay.
And I was just in the gym. I was doing my own thing. I was watching Rolly training. He had a sparring session that day, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. He was there in the gym, and I just said what's up, and he just showed me some pointers and showed me some tips and tricks. And then after that, I always thought about, one day I'm gonna hit the pads with this guy, And I think it was earlier this year. I was, and not even earlier, a couple months back. I was in the gym. I was having a sparring session, and one of my coaches, he was not there to corner me that day. He had something going on, so Floyd Senior, he just started cornering me out of
Oh,
nowhere. It
okay.
was like it was meant to be type of thing. So he just starts
Yeah.
cornering me and he starts telling me tips and things and telling me to do that. And he's up there in age now, but that the intelligence and the knowledge that he carries, it's still there. It's static. It remains there.
Yeah.
So he starts telling me to do all these things, and I'm just listening to directions and I'm implementing them, and they're working for me. And after we were done, he's like, "Wait around. I'm gonna put on my mitts and I'm gonna show you some things."
Oh,
And from that, we started doing some mitts. We did mitts for about, I'd say, at least 20, 30 minutes.
oh wow. Okay.
And he was just impressed. He was like, "This kid has a lot of power. This kid has a lot of," he was just telling everybody in the gym, and everybody was just watching.
Yeah.
Like, and he goes, "This kid has a lot of power. He's got power in both hands." And I'm telling everybody, he told this to everybody, I'm telling everybody right now, this kid's going to be in top 10 very soon. Don't sleep on him. And those were his words. And I think he's a legend. So I think it speaks for itself. Only real recognize the real, in my opinion.
It's true.
So
Yeah. Well, what was it like hearing that from him?
it was like, obviously, like I grew up watching these people. So when you hear something like that as a fighter, somebody who's grown up watching these people, it's like shit, man. Like I know I believe in myself and I know that I'm capable of getting to that pinnacle of the sport. But when you hear it from somebody of that elite level, yeah, it's motivating, dude. It's humbling. It's a different form of happiness.
Like that. It basically kind of reconfirms what you already believe in.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things I would say.
Yeah. Now you did mention you training with like Rolly and stuff. How was that?
Dude, he's high level, dude. He's a spectacle of the sport. I put him up there with guys like Roberto Duran. He is. he's a killer. He's a
Yeah.
killer, and people have yet to see. I would say people have seen, but people have yet to see his true capabilities.
Yeah.
And I will say this that he will be he's a future Hall of Famer type of fighter.
Yeah.
That's the type of fighter he is. You know, he's very hardworking. His work ethic is beyond. You know, these fighters. You know, there's a saying that hard work beats talent.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, I would say, are talented, but at the level that he's at, but he is so hardworking. His work ethic is beyond, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
He must
that's what
have
I.
like the work ethic of like a machine, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, dude, training twice, three times a day during camp. I mean, this guy is like laser sharp focus on what he does, and then in addition to that, he's so naturally gifted. I mean, he's strong. He's in my opinion, he's probably the biggest puncher in the sport. Period. Biggest puncher in the sport. This guy can knock people out all the way up to like 154, 160. You know, he's a really big puncher, and it's very underestimated. So, I mean, it's just one of those. He's just one of those. He's just one of those athletes, man.
I like that. I like that. Now, I do have to ask you, what personally inspired you to pursue boxing?
Honestly, man, I can't really kind of pinpoint on what exactly made me pursue boxing, but
Yeah.
I started when I was 19, right? I
Oh,
always liked boxing when I was younger, like you know, doing fights with friends and peers, and always getting into fights in school and stuff too. I got suspended so many times for getting into fights in the school. I wrestled in middle school.
oh,
I played football in high school. I was a cornerback and a quarterback, and I guess contact sports was just always my thing, you know.
yeah.
But
I can relate to that.
boxing, I always respected. You know, boxing, like you know, you see guys like you know on TV, you see guys like Ray Robinson, you see guys like Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, you know, Ray Leonard. You see these guys and they walk in, they carry a different type of. It's different. They always stand out. You know,
Yeah.
and the amount and the level of respect that they get is like a king. You know,
Yeah.
even the kings of countries, you know, the presidents of countries when they're in front of a world champion level boxer, it's as if they're equal.
Yeah.
The
I like
respect,
that.
the respect is, it's up there, you know.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, I like that, you know. I see that in
Yeah.
myself. But at the same time, you know, then when I started boxing at the age of 19, I went into the gym. Funny story. I'm thinking all this shit, like, you know, boxing is going to be easy and this and that. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to wipe through these guys, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, God works in his own ways. And, you know, I had to put me in there with a 15-year-old kid. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And the kid really put a beating on me, you know.
Yeah.
It was a humbling experience, but it was also a very motivating experience, I would say, because that's real. I would say that was the foundation of my career, you know that made me go back and made me really understand and respect the sport more than anything. You know, I think a lot of people do this sport for decades and they still don't respect the sport.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much kept me going. And then obviously the talent itself, you know, there's a level of being naturally gifted in something. So I mean, I know I'm good at it, alhamdulillah. So I just continue doing it, you know, enjoy
Yeah.
it more than anything. I enjoy what I do.
No, I like that. I like that. What's interesting is that you mentioned wrestling, which is funny because I know a lot of the like really old school, like boxers, they actually
Hmm.
did do wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually interesting.
So I think there's Terrence Bud Crawford. Apparently, he was a wrestler back in I think high school,
Yeah,
and a very good one too. So it's like wrestling. People who wrestle, man, they just have like this. I think they have a very similar mentality, wrestling and boxers.
Yeah,
It's wrestling is not an easy sport. It's a very tough sport, and mentally and physically very tough. And I think it falls along the lines with boxing. So anybody who's wrestled in the past, I respect them a lot because wrestling is not an easy sport.
yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a very tiring sport for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean it's physically demanding.
Yeah,
It's definitely physically demanding.
no, that's for sure. Now, you did mention some like bigger names like Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Mike
Yeah,
Tyson. So, like obviously growing up, which boxer would you say like you really looked up to?
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd
Okay.
Mayweather, definitely Floyd Mayweather.
And did you ever get to meet him at the gym or no? Did you
I've
ever?
never met Floyd. I've never met Floyd Mayweather.
No. But you did meet obviously Floyd Mayweather Sr.
Yeah,
for sure.
senior. Every once in a while, I'll run into him at the gym and stuff, and he's a very loving and very good individual. He's a legend of the sport, man. Like nothing but nothing. Hats off to him, man. Really good guy.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I personally can see why you would like Floyd Mayweather, right? But obviously, some casuals might not understand why
Hmm.
you would. So obviously, like, how would you explain it? Like, what stuck out to you from him? Like, you said you were like inspired by him.
I would say it's hard work, man. Very hardworking athlete, very disciplined, and very laser focused. The thing is that the reason why he's the best of the best, and the reason why he is TBE, I will say, is because he's been in there with some very good fighters. A lot of these guys, a lot of these casuals, oh, Floyd this, Floyd that, but Floyd fought top level fighters, man. He beat it all. He beat almost what, 24 world champions? 24 world champions almost, man. So, like, that's a very high number. Not only did he beat 24 world champions, he made those people look ordinary.
Yeah,
What makes a legend is that, let me tell you, there's elite level fighters and then there's legends. The legend is the one who goes in there and makes that elite level fighter look normal. He takes away everything he does and he capitalizes on it. In addition, that also doesn't take the damage.
yeah,
That's an elite level fighter. That's real ring IQ. You could have a guy who's got everything. He's got the knockout power. He's got everything, bro. He's got ring generalship. He's got all of it. But can you put him in there with an elite level fighter and then just make him look average? You have elite level fighters who go in there and have a brawl with other guys. They can't make the other guy look average.
that's a good point actually. I like that.
But Floyd goes in there. He makes Canelo look average. He makes Pacquiao look average. He makes Cotto look average. Mosley look average. Arturo Gotti, Emmanuel Augustus. Like, dude, he makes all these guys look average. Versus when those guys face one another, right? Vice versa. They had
Yeah,
brawls, man. They were beating the shit out of each other trying to get a victory. It's just like Khabib, man. Like Khabib goes in there. He's been in there with some really high level guys. I mean, he's been there with Dustin, Connor, Gagey, like, but he goes in there and he makes them look average, dude. He makes them look like they're nothing.
yeah, that's a good point honestly.
You think
It's
those guys are
really like
bad fighters?
different.
Those aren't bad fighters. Those are elite level fighters, man. The thing is that
Yeah,
he's just a legend.
no, that's 100% true. It's because like I mean, with Floyd and obviously with Khabib, they're both just like masters, like
Hmm.
technique wise, and it's like
Hmm.
tacticians. It's completely.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say sacrifice too. I mean, very disciplined. More than anything, sacrificing everything outside of the ring in order to make sure that they accomplish everything inside of the ring or inside of the cage, whichever way you want to put it.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the discipline aspect because obviously, anyone that knows about Floyd Mayweather, he was obviously very disciplined. But how would you say that you've tried to like implement that into your own life?
I think with me, I think it's a little bit different because I'm Muslim.
Yeah,
So there's a level of when you're a Muslim, there's a level of taqwa that's there that you have to. It's more of like a self thing, you know.
Yeah,
And my father passed away when I was 21 years old, so I've been kind of, when I was in the sport, I was kind of solo, you know.
yeah.
My dad, my dad actually almost never saw me fight. He never saw me fight. My dad
Oh
came
wow.
to the gym one time in his life, and it was for one sparring session that he came for, and I completely beat the shit out of this guy. After that, my dad never came to the gym again. My dad never saw me fight. My dad saw never not any of my training. So ever since then, I've been solo on this, man. I've been solo, but I've been blessed with the people around me. Even in Chicagoland, I've had great people around me, great teams behind me, great individual set of individuals. Alhamdulillah, the doors opened up over here, and Allah guided me over here, and just taking it as it comes at this point.
Yeah. Obviously, it's unfortunate to hear that your father passed away, but alhamdulillah, it seems like you still have maintained a level of God consciousness and like discipline, as you said.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's mandatory. I think if you're a Muslim, you have to, man. It's your faith. It's your deen. At the end of the day, there's nothing more important than your deen.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. It's 100% true. I do want to talk to you about I guess like the modern state of boxing. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like it, to be honest, man. I honestly don't like it. These guys are, I think the boxers are just so emotional nowadays, man. And they're just like, they don't want to fight each other. They just talk shit on the internet. A lot of these boxers, man, they make it out of the gutter, but their mind still stays there. And then they create a false persona with the fans that just because, all these wannabe Floyd Mayweathers of today's generation, that shit pisses me off too. Like everybody wants to be like Floyd Mayweather. None of you guys are like Floyd Mayweather. There's only going to be one Floyd Mayweather. You know, be yourself, be original. You know what I mean? Don't go around trying to be somebody else. That makes no sense to me. All
Yeah,
these guys at the end of interviews, oh, I might just be the next Floyd Mayweather. No, you're not. Because when Floyd Mayweather was in your weight class, he was knocking people out, dude. He wasn't going the distance. He wasn't in there freaking, pity pattying with these guys, and he was knocking out real level, high level guys like I said, like Emmanuel Augustus and Arturo Gotti.
yeah,
Not just some guys who aren't at that level.
that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you aren't wrong. Like it's okay to draw inspiration from someone, but to an extent, it's like, you should also try to be original, not completely like take someone's script.
Yeah, you can't take someone's script, man, and that's not his script. That's just who he is.
Yeah,
So be who you are. Be original. Be yourself.
yeah, no, that's for sure.
That's what I have to say to these guys.
Yeah. One of the things that really sticks out, obviously, about Floyd Mayweather is
Hmm.
like his resume and of course the people you're beating, just overall.
Hmm.
It's like kind of unmatched on this.
Yeah, it's hard to beat, man. He is the GOAT. In my opinion, he's the best.
Yeah. Now, one interesting concept I do want to talk to you about is obviously in boxing, one thing that I think it's becoming a bit more common now is
Yeah.
the switching of stances.
Yeah, it's becoming common. I've seen a lot of people are switch hitters now.
Yeah.
I could do it too, man, to be honest. I can do both, but perfect one thing before we move on to the next.
Yeah. No, that's for sure.
I've been in there with so many guys, man, where they'll be doing trying to do both. They'll be getting their ass beaten orthodox, then they switch to southpaw, thinking, oh, wow, I'm gonna go southpaw. I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
on this guy. Boom, then they eat a right hand. Stick to one.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. It's a good point because yeah, even when I'm like sparring, like that's the one thing I noticed is that, you know, since obviously like I can fortunately enough, I can fight obviously in both stances, but they'll
Yep.
try and imitate me in that stance. And then when I'm like beating them, they'll switch back to their original stance. And I'm just like, what was the
Yep.
point of that?
Yep. Yeah, and then in addition to that, MMA is a little bit different too.
Yeah,
MMA you have to be able to. MMA is something you have to be able to fight in both stances
yeah,
because there's such a wide variety of things that going that are happening in MMA. You know,
yeah,
like there's jujitsu, there's wrestling, there's striking, there's so many aspects and different things that are happening in MMA that you have to be able to fight in both.
yeah,
Versus boxing, it's a hand-to-hand game, so it's very different. I would say in that aspect. So in boxing, for boxing, I would say, man, stick to one. You know, yes, you're
yeah,
capable of fighting in both. You have two hands, you have a brain. Everybody, I believe, is naturally ambidextrous. I think everybody's naturally ambidextrous. I just think the fact that they haven't trained with the opposite side, that's what they're not used to the opposite side. Like
yeah,
if you broke your arm and your right hand, I mean, you'd have to rely on your left, right? So you'd learn.
yeah,
You wouldn't have an option.
yeah, that's true.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and you will learn because you know that, hey, dude, if I want to write something out, I got to make sure I can write something out. You're not going to sit there wordless. So everybody's naturally ambidextrous. Everybody can fight in both stances, but boxing is a pure striking based sport.
Yeah,
So if you can't strike as good on one side compared to the other side, stick to the side that you strike good on because you're just going to master that side.
yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah. No, that's a very valid point. It's better to be, I guess, like good at one than bad at both.
Yeah. And if you're going to say you're going to balance out both, that's just stupid. There's some guys like, and I'll give it to Terrence. Terrence Crawford is a very good guy, a very good fighter at, fighting at both stances.
Yeah,
I still think he fights better in orthodox, but he can fight southpaw and orthodox, and he could do it really well.
yeah. No, that's true. Now, obviously, before we end off, do you have anything you feel like you didn't get a chance to say?
No, man, just whoever's been watching this, whoever enjoyed this podcast, please give me a follow on all my social media platforms. Saad the Prince Khan. You know, you will see in the next few years that there's a guy out there who's here to change the sport in a good way.
Yeah.
So
No, I like that. I like that.
check me out, follow
Honestly,
me, keep in tune.
yeah. No, honestly, I wish you obviously the best of success in boxing, right?
Inshallah.
And in life in general.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
Likewise, dude.
what would you say?
Likewise, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, no, no. Sure. I know how hard it can be. Like, just, I mean, I've done like boxing for 2 years, but
Yep.
obviously now I do MMA mostly.
Yep.
But I know how hard it can be, obviously.
Yeah. No, both. I mean, both sports are very difficult in their own perspective. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not one to shun one over the other. They're both difficult in their own perspective.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think a lot of people really can't see that sometimes.
No, they
Yeah.
can't. No, I respect all athletes, man. At the end of the day, no matter what sport you do, I respect all athletes because athletes are people that are overlooked at times, man. Everybody thinks that an athlete's life is very easy when it's not. An athlete's life is very difficult, and it's a high stress level life. So I respect all athletes in whatever sport they do.
No, that's for sure. 100% I agree. No, one thing I do want to say is before we end off is please like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, and until next time, peace.
Peace.